So let's get started with the first tune, Enough Is Never Enough. It's DAD-GAD tuning. I'm in the key of A, and there's a lot of useful pentatonic information to be had here. The opening. What's happening there is I'm playing around with an A7 and a D7, and you'll notice with my right hand I can be doing some rhythmic stuff that isn't necessarily fully notated, or for that matter, fully articulated. There's a little bit of a kind of an underlying groove going on, and I'm catching some rhythmic stuff in between the actual pick notes. Notice, for example, here's a pentatonic lick. Is another pentatonic lick. I tend to discourage people thinking in terms of boxes when I'm doing fingerings, but it's quite useful to recognize that in DAD-GAD, some of your bluesy pentatonic boxes kind of exist in that area, which is really just 2 frets higher than it would be in standard tuning on the top 2 strings. So here, now, moving into bar 9, I'm moving up to a C chord. It's a C7 with an added 13. There's no 9ths. And you'll notice there's an open A string in there, the 2nd string. So, now there's a B7. Again, that A string is open, gives you the 7th. The lick that follows, nothing slurred there, I'm picking every note. And then, again, a D7 with that A string, the 2nd string open. And it comes up with the A string open on a C sharp 7, which makes it an augmented. And then the next measure, measure 12, notice that I'm barring the whole thing. And what I've got there is a pentatonic bluesy lick, and then onto an F sharp minor. I'll play that again. And notice what happens here. I'm going from a D to a B add 2 over a D sharp. One of my favorite DAD-GAD chord configurations. To an E, sus, and of course the sus is always just 1 finger across the whole guitar, because DAD-GAD is basically a sus for tuning. And then that'll all repeat. The second time around, there's an extension on that phrase, and look at what happens here when I go to the G7 chord, and recognize that this shape, which comes up a lot, is the 7th. It's the equivalent of doing this in standard tuning. But I'm reaching back to get that E on the top string, then to an F sharp, and this is kind of a cool one. Like the flavor of that. This time I'm doubling that in thirds. Now, continuing into bar 23, what's happening here is I'm over an F zone, then a G, and then going up to the A. So, but notice the top strings are still open. And I'll play that bit again in 25, 26. And then back to the F. Again, each one of these is not slurred. I'm not doing I like the energy that comes out of picking each note. And then that pattern repeats, and in between each one of those F, G, A's, there are different licks that happen. You can figure that stuff out for yourself. They're improvised anyway. I play them differently each time, but they're in the music. And then it'll go back to the sign at the end of 38, back to measure 9. When it goes to the coda, it picks it up with this breakdown section. So just over an A over C sharp, D, and then on top of that I'm adding a pattern. Which repeats, and then the third time I'm adding now be careful with that stretch. I'll play that one more time. And notice as that progresses it gets louder, so the intensity should start at the beginning of that coda section and then gradually building the volume. Etc. and building up through that section. Everything else is essentially a repeat of what's gone before. So just really be very careful in the B section, the section that starts at 9. And notice that I'm playing those with thumb downstrokes. And just be careful about getting that, the bar that happens right there. So that's essentially the lesson on this tune. Just to recap, be conscious in DAGAD of the fact that A is a very cool key to be in. And you've got your F, your G, your A, your C, B, D, C sharp, F sharp minor. All those chord shapes become familiar to you as you progress in DAGAD. So thanks for paying attention here.